know I need more fiber in my diet. I'm Trevor Stone, and I'm going to be talking about why money is a myth. So economists like to organize the world into goods and services. Goods are things that you can hand to another person, like bacon and iPods. You hand somebody some money, they hand you some bacon. Services are things like massage and plumbing that you can do for another person. I give you some money, you fix my toilet, or rub my back, whichever you're better at. Now, a couple of weeks ago, you sat down at your computer, and through a process involving no fewer than a dozen servers on the internet, a few bits were moved from your bank account and moved in an Ignite's bank account. This convinced this wonderful group of volunteers here to put on this event for you. When you arrived at the Boulder Theater, you handed the bartender a piece of paper with a picture of Abraham Lincoln on it. He handed you a beer. This is a great deal for you because beer is tastier than Abraham Lincoln is these days. This all works because we have a collective shared belief in the value of money. We believe that a good massage is worth $75, a beer is worth $5, and we believe that if you give somebody a really good massage, you should be able to get about 15 beers. But we could all change that tomorrow. Throughout history, there have been a lot less fuzzy versions of money. The people of Yap had these giant multi-100-pound coins, bigger than a person. They weren't very useful for buying a bag of chips. Livestock has been a very popular mode of currency for a long time, and the Aztecs even used chocolate as money, but I think they had a deflationary problem. So we've invented all these forms of money because bartering is hard. If all we had to do was barter, it would take a whole lot of bacon to get one iPod, and Steve Jobs is a vegetarian, so you might not get very far. But in all of these cases, money is just a tool for persuasion. We use money as just one way to convince people to do stuff, but if you have a giant pile of money that you're not using, it doesn't do you any good. Gold is at least pretty to look at, I suppose. So the true value that we're after is people doing stuff, people handing you bacon and people rubbing your back. That's what value is. Money is just a means to that end. And what we're really after is people doing really cool stuff. Now, if you take all the people that you know and all the stuff that you can convince them to do, that's your social capital. Social capital is a measure of wealth that doesn't involve money. It involves true value, people doing stuff. Martin Luther King didn't have very much money, but he had a lot of social capital. Social capital starts at home with your friends and family. You can convince your best friend to help you move a couch without having to pay him $100. As your friends and family get bigger, it becomes a tribe, and then it turns into these abstract myths like religions and nations, where patriotism and religious fervor can convince people to do stuff, including die, without getting paid for it, because they think that it's a good idea, they think that it's worth doing, they think that it's valuable. Sometimes the only myth you need to convince somebody is a good idea. Karl Marx didn't have any money, and he convinced a lot of people that you didn't need any money either. The people of Egypt collectively convinced themselves that they would do better with a better government without anybody paying them to do that. So you can create value by building community and establishing social capital. If you have a group of bike riders who go for a crazy ride every Thursday, you've got a whole bunch of social capital, people who will do stuff without having to get paid. There's also lots of things that are valuable, that are awesome to do, that you want to do, that nobody's going to pay you to do. You shouldn't worry about the fact that nobody's going to pay you to do, because value is doing awesome stuff, and those are both really awesome. You can also create value by giving stuff away. Wikipedia and open source projects get a whole bunch of social capital of people convincing each other that they should build this thing. They give it to the whole world, and the whole world creates really awesome stuff with it. So what's my point? Money is a myth. It's this thing that we made up to make convincing people easier. But the true value that we're after is taking action. Sometimes you need money. I use money, you use money. It's not a bad thing. But when you use money, use it to convince people to do really cool stuff. Is this local business doing awesome stuff more than this giant corporation? And when you make decisions about your time, say, I do X because it's awesome. Thank you very much. trevorstone.org/ignite has links to all sorts of further stuff if you're interested in this stuff. FLWYD on Twitter, that's how to find me.